good, everybody? It's your boy Haki, and today we're gonna react to David update. LAPD has footage plus more bodies found. Now, hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Before we even get into it, bro, drop a like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 200 subscribers. Let's get it. Also, I hope that Ross isn't. There's no clickbait because we've heard that there was more bodies found like 3 to 4 times, and they weren't necessarily related to the case. So let's see. Let's get straight into it.
Another quick David update, and there's another interesting story going around that some people might think could be giving a little bit of background information to what happened, what was the series of events that led up to David being found with the body of 14-year-old Celeste in his trunk. So this is the latest. Okay, this has been going around today on the David2 subreddit. It said David's LA rental mansion was visited by police just 2
Now, this is genuinely new information. We have not known this. I hope this is real. Let me know. 2 months before the teen was found. So, like, I'm just going to give a little, not explanation. I'm just going to guess why they were there. I think potentially somebody might have reported that they saw Celeste. Maybe. That's just my theory, though. I don't know.
months before teen was found dead. Now, this leads to a Sun article, the Sun US, a rather dubious British newspaper. They've made their way to the US and are covering this sort of thing now. But it says, mystery thickens. David's LA rental mansion visited by police after late night 911 call 2 months before teen Celeste Rivas was found dead. Officers were called out to his lavish Hollywood Hills rental in July. This is very interesting. It said police paid a visit to singer David Los Angeles' rental mansion after a 4:30 a.m. 911 call 2 months before a 15-year-old was found dead in the trunk of his car. 14-year-old, really. The police investigation into Celeste Rivas' death has been dragging on for 6 weeks, and no arrests have been made. Okay, let's get to it. It says they've confirmed that she was a teen runaway and she was reported missing a year before her tragic death. While sources claim to the US Sun her family felt helpless. David's manager at Interscope Records, Josh Marshall, had been...
Which is interesting because that's the first time I'm hearing that the family felt helpless. But I also get, because I had heard that she had ran away like one time and then came back, and then another time came back, and then another time came back, and then another time and then came back. So I'm interested to see, like, damn, $20,000 a month is crazy, bro.
Renting a $4.7 million home in the Hollywood Hills with 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms for the star, priced at $20,000 a month. The US Sun obtained information for a Freedom of Information request showing a neighbor called 911 on Sunday, July the 20th, 2025. The call was made around 4:38 a.m. regarding a public nuisance complaint, but the police didn't arrive to the home until 8:57 a.m. Okay, so what was going on?
I mean, it is 4:30. What can you expect, bro?
It says a spokesperson for the LAPD said the noise problem was regarding loud music being played all night long through the early hours, 4:30 a.m. all the way till the police turned up. Okay, but apparently when the police eventually got to the house, the situation was resolved. There were no other 911 calls made from February 2024, when David reportedly moved in, until September 2025, when his manager got out of the lease and the star moved out of the home. And it goes on to explain a lot of the stuff that we already knew there. Now, I think this is kind of interesting, you know, what was going on in the house. The police were being called there. The neighbors were concerned. It says music was playing very loud. Now, look, that music, who knows, man? That music could have been being played loud to cover up something going on. Maybe they were having a wild party.
That's what I'm thinking. But I think it could have just been those parties, because we had heard a few times that David he would throw these parties, and he would even bring Celeste to these parties, and that he would bring both of the Celeste to the parties, because there was 2 Celeste, guys. There was 2 Celeste. Hope y'all don't. There's not just one. There was 2. He had one that he would use to cover up the real Celeste, and then he had, you know, Celeste Hernandez or Rivas.
What do people that are out of their minds at 4:30 a.m. playing loud music sometimes get up to? You guys can be the judge of that. Okay, you guys can answer that for me, but let's see what people think of this. So you got people here in the comments. It says speculation. Were they having a big argument? Was Celeste screaming on the roof terrace? Did David blast music to drown out her screams? And somebody says something really interesting in this comment. They say, I wonder if they released the police body cam footage to the Sun too. If the police were called out there and it didn't lead to any kind of case, maybe with the Freedom of Information Act, they might actually be able to get their hands on that footage. Some David body cam footage would be crazy to look
at. I ain't gonna lie. Let me know if y'all want to see that in the comments, because we will be digging for it after this video. I am not gonna lie. That sounds like some content and a half right there.
See what the kind of vibe was around this time. People saying, I wonder if the calls will be made public. I'd like to know what the complaints were about verbatim. Probably SF2. So another big piece of information that's been circulating over the past day or so is saying it's officially confirmed private investigator Steve Fisher has been retained by Mladen Trifonovich in the Celeste Rivas ongoing investigation. Now, if you didn't know, Mladen is the owner of the Hollywood Hills mansion that David was staying in. So apparently, okay, he is actually confirming, he is retaining officially the services of private investigator Steve Fisher, and he is trying to get to the bottom.
This shit looking real interesting. So now we got private investigators looking into the David case, and this was filed by the owner of the home that David was staying in. So if we don't see anything within the next 2 to 3 months, bro, I don't even know at this point. Also, that's interesting. I haven't played Marvel Rivals in a minute. Phoenix,
And
I might have to check
privately
that
of
shit
what
out.
was going on. People were saying, but of course, they're saying, why is the owner spending money to retain the PI though? People were saying maybe he wants to know if the murder actually occurred there because he would have to disclose that to the future renters. Looks like California law even requires disclosure if death occurred within the last 3 years. So it sounds like the landlord is actually desperate to get to the bottom of this, and it might even be required by law for him to actually find out what's going on. Another interesting tidbit relating to the mansion is that it's been reported in about 14 hours ago, LAPD finally got the tapes, and this was a TMZ exclusive. It said David's rental home surveillance videos are now in the LAPD's possession, confirmed by the homeowner. Okay, it says the owner of the house, Mladen Trifonovich, tells the external cameras would show anyone who went in or out of the house, so the footage could help cops track Celeste's movements leading up to her demise. There was a lot of debate as to whether these cameras would have been rolling at the time, whether they actually captured anything interesting, and it seems like they were capturing some footage, and that's been handed over to the LAPD. Now, this was the full article by TMZ. It's called Cops Have Rental Home Security Vids. Was Celeste there before her death? This is pretty major, to be honest. I'm surprised more people haven't picked up on this. It says
No,
LAPD
for
is sitting
real.
on a potential gold mine in the David investigation. Surveillance videos from the singer's Hollywood Hills rental home that could reveal whether Celeste Rivas was there prior to her mysterious death. TMZ has now learned that the cops seized all the footage from multiple security cameras at the house last month while executing a search warrant. The owner of the house, Mladen Trifonovich, I got to work on pronouncing this guy's name, I hope I got that right, tells us the external cameras would show anyone who went in or out of the house, so the footage could help cops track Celeste's movements leading up to her demise. And it's pointing out here that there's a couple of security cameras. That's a couple of cameras, okay? And we're finding out that, Tesla keys are getting found in the gutter. The car was parked nearby. So this could be a major breakthrough.
Ooh, so this means we might be able to see who was in the car, who got out of the car. We could see all of this because if if my information is correct, they found the Tesla no, they didn't find the Tesla in front of his house actually. They found a Tesla like sitting somewhere. But if he's saying it was true that the keys are in the gutter, that could mean that we could see footage of David getting dropped off or something like that, and then throwing the keys in the gutter. So this is very interesting.
The homeowner Malden says that he hasn't seen any of the footage himself because he intentionally did not have access to the cameras to allow his renters privacy. So he personally has no idea if Celeste has ever been.
Which I kind of like. Like it's guys, he was renting the home. Like a lot of times when it comes to things like that, like landlords don't really know what's going on inside of the house unless they're like visiting your house like every other so day. Like one of my landlords, she was such a bitch. Anyways, but like they don't necessarily know what's going on in the house because that's not necessarily their full responsibility. Like they're offering you a house, somewhere to live. You pay them a little bit of a fee every month. That's what happens. But
In that was ever in the house. He says that he asked LAPD for a copy of the warrant and an itemized list of what was seized from the house, but has not gotten a response. And this article also confirms that Malden has indeed hired a private investigator to look into Celeste's death. He says his PI is still very early on in his investigation and has nothing new to share yet. But back over here in the comments about this article of the LAPD having the tapes that was in TMZ, people have got some interesting analysis. It says, so LAPD keeps this info private for a reason. Now the person that drove that Tesla is absolutely sure that he's caught on camera.
they probably
People are
freaking
saying,
out.
exactly. The more people that know, the more it compromises the investigation. No shade, but the homeowner should shut his yap. Like, what? I literally got talked down and downvoted because of the same comment, but people are saying, hey, man, it's important. Even TMZ is in a drought if they're reporting the obvious. They obtained everything needed from his house or near his house almost a month ago. I feel like it's actually useful that they that they did mention that. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. This keeps everybody updated and lets people know what is going on in the case, bruh. People want to know. People are interested. People want to see justice for this case. Just like in the it it is eerily similar to the OJ Simpson trial in a way. It's eerily similar.
But people saying thank you. I can't fathom people genuinely thinking they don't have CCTV footage, phone records, etc. already.
Also, my bad if y'all hear all the sniffing. I'm a little sick, but you know what I'm saying? We gotta keep the
Just because
content
they
out.
haven't publicly announced it. They had most of it within 72 hours. It's not shocking or weird that they didn't announce having it. Do people expect a daily statement detailing what new evidence is in the LAPD's possession? This person said,
Facts.
whoever of the LAPD's long list of suspects, anyone who visited the house in the last few months, happens to go missing today, then they know they got the right one. This is some reaction also in David 2, just to the fact that the landlord is hiring a private investigator. He said David's previous California landlord hired PI. I just want to know, do you guys think if this private investigator finds out more and releases information, will it have a negative impact on the detective's case? Will it do more bad than good? Or do y'all believe it's a good thing that someone else is looking into this? Let me know. So here's a long answer. It says, it's a good thing. He's been around for a while and this is his job. He wouldn't do anything to jeopardize anything, as in if he found something, he would make sure to log it and turn it over to any XX to the authorities. If anything, he won't just be a help, sadly. He just won't be a help, sadly, if there's nothing to help with or find. But if he, as in Steve, is indeed the PI, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, working on this, then he can have access to the property and everything else the landlord will give him. He can go over everything with a fine-tooth comb, talk to neighbors, look at any security footage that exists. Hopefully he will, again, go over everything with a fine-tooth comb, but poor Celeste was just a little girl. Perhaps she tried to leave her presence known as something was happening to her, or if she felt like something was about to happen to her. Maybe markings of some kind, scribbles, a note, maybe she shoved between a crack in the siding of the wall, something under something, anything. We just don't know. Fingers crossed. Here's hoping. Now that is reaching a little bit of wishful thinking there, but that would be crazy. Somebody says, you're hyping up the possibilities for this PI. Seems to have an extreme misunderstanding of what a private investigator is, what PI does, and what the goal is for a PI. They're not law enforcement working with law enforcement. They're working for the person who hired them, and often they're being paid to protect one person, often the person who hired them, or to find evidence against a specific target. Automatically expecting a PI to be looking for the whole truth and nothing but is a misunderstanding of the way that capitalism has shaped the job of a PI. And they got 2 downvotes for that. I don't know about that comment, to be honest with you. Now, another thing that's been going around that I did think was quite interesting is there's now footage going around of David driving a different car. This is breaking video of David driving a Kia K4 LX with California dealer plates in Houston on December the 22nd, 2024. Is the LAPD and FBI investigating possible involvement of this vehicle in the death or disappearance of Celeste?
How do y'all find out about this? This is what I'm saying. Y'all internet detectives need to go get a job at the FBI, bro. Or the C. Like, y'all are crazy. How do y'all know
And it
this?
shows, this is a video of David, you know, he's doing some little promo or something, some video giveaway thing, but he's driving a different car. Could be a rental, could be a second car. They were saying he had multiple cars. Maybe this is one of them multiple cars, but people are trying to track this car. They're trying to find out if this means anything. They got the plate. They got a little bit too much information, if you ask me, man. David was moving sloppy, if you ask me. But a lot of people have been thinking there's a lot more details that they could be finding. And another thing that's not entirely relevant, I'm not gonna over egg this, but I did think this was interesting. They're saying more bodies have been found in LA junkyard. So this is a new article from KTLA5. It says unknown number of human remains have been found in a desert junkyard in LA County. All right, and you can see some
Now, I'm
footage.
gonna just start this off by saying I definitely don't think this is connected to David. I think people forget how dangerous LA is, how much gang violence is in LA, how many corrupt politicians are in LA. Bodies being found in LA in the desert, it doesn't really surprise me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it's LA. If you know about LA, you know how it gets down there, bro. People go missing and disappearing all the time. I feel like we got a bigger look into this David case, obviously, because he is rich and famous. Like, that's about it. Like, I'm gonna be 100% honest. That is, and there was just too much hints that he could be involved in the case just with his music, and I feel like that's what has made the case so like big. But stuff like this happens all the time in
up
LA.
here of cars in the desert, looking at some human remains that were found in a car junkyard. And there's been a lot of speculation in the comments as to whether this is something going on where people are abandoning cars and hoping they get crushed. And apparently that's a way that you can actually get rid of a body these days. Who knows how many people got away with that? You wouldn't actually know. It says that an unknown number of
I'm sure it's probably been a few, but that probably is a method. I ain't gonna, you know, say
human remains were recovered from a makeshift desert junkyard in the Antelope Valley. Authorities said that they were called Sunday just before 12:30 p.m. after a resident who lives nearby reported her dog found what appeared to be a human skull at the site located near 124th Street. A large crew of medical examiners responded to the property, and they basically found out the area was littered with vehicles, appliances, and other large items, and they looked closely at a blue SUV and a large storage container. So they looked into the whole situation. You know, they're saying that it could be potentially multiple sets of human remains. And it says this is the third instant in this year in which human...
Bro, what? Look at this shit. Okay, like, I know this is not anything to do with that. Illegal base jumper. Squatters take over Yosemite amid government shutdown, bro. We got to do something about the homeless people in America, bro. I hate to get political. We genuinely got to do something with the homeless people. Like, I've been talking to people about this. Some things that I say kind of might sound inhumane, bro. I'm telling you, if we went to every homeless person and we were like, bro, we can give you a job right now where you get paid $18 an hour, $20 an hour, and you like there's ways we could go about it. I just think we don't know how to handle it, bro. I think we need to kind of bogart people and be like, look, you gotta work or we're gonna send you to a facility. Yes, I think that's. But anyways, I'm not gonna get in too deep in this. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you think that the private investigator will end up possibly revealing some key points of evidence in this David case or not. And let me know if you think that Celeste will get justice in the comments. It's your boy Haki, and I am out. Peace.